to another installment of Unveiling Africa, one handsome face at a time. I promised you I'll bring you the very best of Africa. We're talking about renaissance, greatness, one Africa, pure Africa, and all the way to the top, Africa. We are here with Christian Djimra from Chad. He's going to tell us a lot about his country, the wonderful things he's doing for us Africans, the wonderful inspirational poetry he writes. I bet you when after the show, you'll want to be a poet too. Let's stay tuned. We're here with Djimra. Welcome.
Thank you.
Christian.
Thank you very much.
We got to the set.
You promised me that I'll be here, and when was that face-to-face gala?
That was like in July.
July?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
It's amazing, but we did it.
We did it.
And that's the most glorious thing.
I couldn't miss it.
Tell me, how does a Chadian have an English name? I find that very fascinating because you're a fascinating man.
You know what's interesting? When you think of Christian Dior, Christian Louboutin, all those famous guys, for whatever reason, French back then and even now have that obsession. I mean, if you translate Christian in French, it's not that interesting. It's chrétien. It's not that interesting. So it's one of those, like, you know what? Let's switch it up a little bit. And the funny thing is, a lot of French speaking people love that. I have like 7 cousins with that first name Christian, but it's.
I love the name because it's like Christine.
Amen. But yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of like people want it to be a little different. The thing about Chad is you always get not always, but a lot of time you get like a first name that's European or French, and then my middle name, like you said, Djimra, and then my last name is Koumtog. And people sometimes are like, yeah, what is your real first name? It's actually my first name. And one thing that I've noticed about Nigerian or even Ghanaian is like, it's a different, like they give you traditional names, you know, and then you have like a American name, which isn't real, but most of like Francophone, French-speaking African have that set up. You get
Now, before we go any further, I want you to describe exactly where you come from in Africa, where Chad is located, because I bet you a lot of people are not familiar with Chad. I tell you, the only reason I know Chad is because you're one of our neighbors from Nigeria, and also the language is spoken in Chad.
Yes.
Can you start with that?
Yes. The language, we have 2 official languages. We have French and Arabic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, I could tell you that you go to Chad, it's equal. It's like people speak Arabic and speak French. And as a Chadian, I could tell you those aren't my native languages. The native language spoken by my people is called Gambai. Gambai, yeah, or Sara. Sara, yeah, and it's like a group of people, like we are called Sara people. Okay. So those are our languages, but native languages, you know. And the funny thing is, the white men want to call it dialects, which is, I call it a language. Yes. But Chad is in the middle, North Central Africa. Like you mentioned, Nigeria is a neighbor. Yeah. We have Libya. Okay. Libya. We have Niger. We have Cameroon. We have Sudan, and we have the Central African Republic. So it's really landlocked.
I was just going to say you're a landlocked country. And I love to ask people from landlocked countries, how do you feel? How do you feel like, do you feel enclosed or enclaved or what? What's the feeling when you're a landlocked country? What's your relationship with the countries around you?
The sad thing, which now that I'm older, I wish there were more interactions with your neighbor. And you know, like Nigerians, like in Chad, you know, I see 1 or 2 Nigerians, but it's like Chadians are all about themselves, you know, unless you go out on vacation, it's like, it's all about your nation. And that needs to change a little bit. Like we need to really look outside of where we are, like outside of our comfort zone. That's the best thing that I could say. And I know about Cameroon, I know about Sudan, I met all of these people in New York. Most of them. In my own country, I never really met my neighbors.
So are you telling me that you don't have a lot of foreigners in Chad? Is that what you're trying to say?
We have a lot of diplomats and business people. You know, the people who come in Chad are like people from Syria, like Syrian and how you call those? Lebanese. Thank you. You read my mind. I would have spent 5 minutes scratching my.
Lebanese are everywhere. In Nigeria too.
Yeah, and you find them, and now recently, I hear you have Chinese people.
Oh yes, they're all over Africa now. They're in Nigeria too.
Yeah. So.
But you know that we'll see what the development goes. You know how it goes. Now it's interesting too. Since you're landlocked, do you intermarry within your neighbors or with those influx of people coming into Chad, or you're primarily very strict?
With changing. I think that's the African thing, you know.
Yeah.
Africans, unless you come to Europe, America, where you have like so many choices.
Yeah. You stick to your people.
You stick to your people. It's not because of anything bad. It's just like you are comfortable with your people. You know the culture, and it's that comfort zone that I mentioned. But I mean, my wife is African American, from Atlanta, born and raised. So it's one thing that I appreciate.
Breaking that ceiling, you're pushing out now.
I mean,
thinking outside the box.
I appreciate my dad because my dad was never like, yo, you better marry a Cajun woman. Wow. He was never like that. Yeah. That's one thing I could say I love about my upbringing. He was never like, I want you to go to law school or I want you to study engineers. I know Nigerians are.
That's true. That's true.
I want you to be a doctor.
Everyone has to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Lawyer, you know, which is great.
Professional.
Which is great.
It is great, but it's also sometimes very stifling if you're not, you are not supposed to be that person.
Yeah.
Let people be. You know, and we're beginning to see now in Africa, or well in Nigeria especially, that the money makers are now the artists, the musicians, the actors and actresses, and the parents are beginning to say, "Ooh, my children would have been this famous too if I let them be who they wanted to be."
That is true.
Well, let's move on. So now, knowing that you're from Chad, how have you? When did you first come to America?
A cold December 12, 2000.
2000?
Yeah.
Wow, you've really assimilated into the society. I can see. I can tell. I couldn't tell you from Chad the first time I met you. So now, what was the experience? Well, how do you feel coming from Chad, a hot country?
I mean, it was a bunch of contrast, like you said. One of the hottest countries in Africa. Yeah. And then you come to a country that has 4 seasons. On top of that, you come in the coldest of seasons. So it wasn't pleasant because I wasn't dressed appropriately.
I was just going to ask.
To say the least. I had a taste of the weather in France because we stopped in Paris. And, coming from Africa, we have families all over France. So we stayed in France with my aunt, and it was cold. And then came here was even colder, but that's just environment, climate. The culture was night and day. We are very traditional in Africa, and one thing that has marked me even then is like coming here, you have guys with braids and earrings, and that was new. I've seen 1 or 2 guys in Chad with earrings, but it was just like 1%. And then you come here in 2000, I think that was like hip hop was exploding. Everybody was like sagging pants and jeans, and it was interesting.
I must have been in awe. Like, where am I? Yeah. So now you came into America. You came when it was very, very cold. Which was a good time to come because then you know what you're expecting from here on.
I'm still not used to the cold. 16 years.
Don't feel bad. But so how were you embraced by the people? Did you find it comforting and welcoming? How were you embraced and received?
We lived in a Jewish neighborhood. We were like one of the fewest family. We had like a house in Kew Gardens, Queens. very Jewish.
Did you come in with your family?
Yeah.
Okay.
We came because my dad was a diplomat
Okay.
at the United Nations. He was actually Chad's ambassador at the UN. So that's why, naturally, for me, I have to represent for Africa.
Yes.
You know, it's not a matter of choice.
It's a matter of, you know.
I have to,
Yeah.
you know, which is funny because I came to this country because my dad was a diplomat. He's been a diplomat for a long time, and coming here, coming from a country where we've only known black politicians, you know, you come here, it's different. It's like you have that. It wasn't as intense as it is now. That whole racial thing, like black, whites, and you know, I've had my encounters, but now it's like even more intensified.
That's what I'm beginning to find out.
It's more intensified,
I tell people,
you know.
When I first came in 1980,
Wow.
I was so welcomed, so, you know, full of life. Everything was beautiful.
Yeah.
They embraced me, they welcomed me. I was like put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then when we have leaders, and I don't want to go too much into that, who do not embrace the unification of people instead of divisiveness, it's frightening.
It is frightening.
I don't think we should be going that route. I think we should be coming together.
It's
we're all
frightening.
becoming one big global village.
That's the thing.
And that's why we should all be one.
It's people talk about globalization, but at the same time, you have like people in power who don't.
See that.
I mean, the truth is, people in power never saw that, and that's the thing that, as my activist side, it's like I realized that in order to really conquer, you have to divide, and I know we're jumping right into it, but coming from Africa, realizing, because I didn't realize the potential we have, first of all, human potential, and then the potential our land has. It's really simple in a sense. In order for one to be the power, the other has to be really down there, because France wouldn't be France if Chad wasn't in poverty, or Togo wasn't in poverty, or London wouldn't be London, England wouldn't be England if Nigeria wasn't so divided.
Dependent on them.
Dependent. So that's a deeper issue. That's a deeper conversation we need to have. And speaking of politics, you know, if you have a person who is a politician and really doesn't believe in that, they're playing the game, the political game. That's the game they're playing. But I was fine. I mean, I went to a public high school because my dad was like, you guys will learn English. I'm not going to babysit you and send you to the UN schools. And no, I went to a public high school, which I love. And within 6 months, I never spoke English. I had 3 days of class because we left in the middle of school to come to the US. Trust me, the English we learn in Chad from England doesn't do anything for you when you come here. It's like, man. So it's like, I was like,
what are you talking about?
I had to apply myself every day and just like read and study, and because I do.
So let's talk about your poetry. How did you come about doing poems, writing poems, and reading it or speaking it?
I mean, it was that fascination coming from a French-speaking country. Fascination with English, one, because I'm impressed by people who tell me I've been writing since I was 5 years old. I started writing when I was 18. Yeah, 2003. I was 2003. I was like, what? Yeah, like 17, 18. And it was a class assignment. My English teacher was like, today we're doing poetry. Here is your assignment. And I remember the assignment was like writing a poem with each letter of the alphabet, A, B, C. And ever since then, I've been writing.
And I'm fascinated because you write about interesting topics, like about your culture, your people, the future of your people.
Yeah.
What spurs you on into doing stuff like that? Like writing about your. It's a way for you to cry out, right?
Yeah.
I presume.
Yeah, cry out is a great approach, but also the frustration that Sean Puffy Calm is not doing it, the frustration that all these artists who have such an amazing platform,
Yes,
I know we want to be entertained. I'm sure when you're drunk and all that stuff, you don't care about the message, but like the frustration was having a platform to create real change in our community. It's not like the black community, don't matter if you're African, African American, Caribbean, the black community worldwide is suffering. So if I had that much attention, I'll do my 1-2 hits for the radios, but behind closed door, I want my message, I want my rap to be uplifting and transforming, because we know how powerful music is. They have subliminal ways to get people going and get them into doing stuff that they don't even realize they're doing. But that was a frustration and a cry out too, because for me, I feel like every human being need to contemplate poetry. It allows you to, it's therapeutic. That's why I say it allows you to express yourself and come up with emotions that if you keep them bottle up,
you might bust out.
Exactly.
in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now tell us now, what's your favorite country in Africa, or 2 favorite countries in Africa you'd like to travel to if we had to leave tomorrow, and why?
Senegal.
Besides your country.
Senegal.
Okay.
I've never been to Senegal because when we speak of slavery, we know that there is a big landmark. Like you go to Senegal now, you'll see like places where slaves used to be, and I want to see that because that's part of who I am. Like
what's the country?
I'll say Ghana. I know there's a big debate between Ghana jollof rice and Nigerian jollof rice. So
I know, I heard about that one. We're crazy
Nigeria. I mean, give me 3rd choice. Ghana, Nigeria will be on my list because especially Nigeria is my name, but I haven't been to Nigeria.
Wow. What's your favorite food?
I like Senegalese jollof. Speaking of jollof,
jollof rice again.
I love Senegalese jollof though. And I like they do it with lamb. I love lamb, but I love lamb. So I love Senegalese jollof and lamb.
And also, what's your message? What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Oh man, it's we only have one life to live. We have to be successful by reaching our fullest potential, because a lot of people are afraid of embracing their potential. Like, embrace your potential and know that honestly success is not just about you. Success is honestly, once you're successful, you have an obligation to care about your community, the next person, your next person, your community, your family, the world that's aching.
All right. You have so much to tell me about. You might have to come back.
I would love to.
We don't have enough time in this short segment of time.
I would love to come back.
We have. So please come back, because we have a lot more to talk about.
Thank you.
And I will thank you all for watching my show as always.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. You're welcome, and you're coming back. And I thank you all for watching our show. You Make Us Who We Are. Unveiling Africa is one of the most successful TV talk shows that will transcend all that you've heard about Africa. We will take it to the next level. And we thank you again for watching my show. We'll hope you'll keep in touch with us. We're now on the new Soul City channel, which is every day, any day, all over the country if you have the Verizon network. And also, go on my social media. My Instagram is Unveiling A. Twitter is Unveiling Africa. YouTube is Unveiling Africa. So thank you so much, and keep it going. Keep on making award-winning Unveiling Africa #1. Thank you, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Love you. Bye-bye.